My name is Rachel de Ste. I'm also known as Precious Little, and I'm basically a freelance illustrator and designer. And you can see my work on my website, which is www.precious-little.com.
And I was just wondering, why do you have that nickname? What prompted you to give yourself that?
Well, partly because nobody can really either spell or pronounce my surname. It's a bit too French for a lot of people to get on with. And also, I mean, I like the sound of it, and I also kind of like the meaning. It kind of means something that's small and treasured, something that's kind of, it's got value, but it's also kind of, it could be valueless, but it's about the way you feel about it. And that's kind of how I feel about my work, and I like, in a way, other people to feel about it too.
And yeah, could you talk a bit about your life as a freelance illustrator, sort of what a typical day is and what your desk looks like and stuff?
My day, I mean, it could go pretty much anyway. Depends what I've got on my plate. For instance, today I've been working on a new children's book cover, but I've also got commissions and things on the back burner. Basically, my desk is a mess. I've got a large kind of cinema-sized screen so that I can see reference photos and things on one screen and work on the other. I've got a Wacom tablet and piles of paper and pens all around me.
So you do a lot of children's illustration as well as fashion illustration, and why do you think you like both of those, and how do they sit together?
I mean, I always felt kind of connected to children's books and children's stories. It's something I was always really into when I was little, and something I always loved. So when I finished uni, that was what I initially pursued. But I also wanted just to diversify, try something new, and produce something maybe a little bit more adult with a slightly different take on things. But I feel like the two do connect in a strange kind of way, because they both have, I mean, obviously it's got to be clear what you're portraying. People have to be able to tell what's going on in the images. Some kind of sense of character and of story are also really important, because without those, I think there's nothing for people to connect to.
You recently launched your own Etsy store, and what kind of stuff do you sell on there? And
at the moment, I'm just selling kind of very small prints, kind of pocket mirrors with designs on. I think that people like to have some kind of merchandising sometimes, rather than a print that they'll just put on their wall. Not everyone has the time and inclination to go out and frame a print and have it hung on their wall. Sometimes people just want something they can grab and hold on to and use in day-to-day life.
For the book, you've illustrated two designers, Lou Flux and also from Somewhere's collection in association with Speedo. And what was it you liked particularly about these two designers?
Lou Flux, when you look at their designs, they have a very obvious kind of crossover with my children's book background. They have quite an English storybook aesthetic. I really enjoy getting into the little details of drawing stuff, so they have lots of frills and flowers and little bits and pieces that are quite fun to draw.
Tell me a bit about how you create your illustrations and, like, you know, what materials you use and so on.
I draw everything out, like traditionally by hand first. I do it kind of in pencil first. I do some sketches and then develop those and then trace over them with a nice black fine liner so that they get a little bit more refined each time. And then scan at high resolution and put them inside my computer. I like to work quite large, like A3 size, so I often have to scan in two halves and then kind of stitch them together painstakingly. After that, I tend to use kind of large and textured brushes that I've made in Photoshop so that I can select areas with using the magic wand tool and just kind of colour flat. And I also use kind of scan in bits of clothing and stuff to get extra textures if I think that I need them.
You've talked about blog giveaways being a really good thing to do to sort of build up sort of people's awareness of you and stuff. Why do you think that is?
If they like what you do already, or even if they don't hear about you, then they then have a reason to come and visit your blog or your website and just kind of see what it is that you do or what they could get for a start. I mean, on the basic level. Everyone wants something free. It's basically an easy way of promotion and getting people to talk about you. There's a possibility of, you know, the right kind of people coming, and hopefully it would lead to either people buying more stuff from Etsy or wherever, or giving you commissions.
Why do you think it's important for illustrators to get involved with promoting ethical fashion?
I just think that it brings a different perspective in, kind of in a way, a bit of an outsider's perspective.
What would be your sort of best advice to aspiring illustrators? Is there anything you would say to, like, help them get ahead?
Just to get yourself out there, get a blog, get Twitter, go out and do exhibitions and just keep on plugging away. I kind of got a couple of really good clients very quickly. I left kind of self-promotion and finding new people for a little while. I think online there are even more opportunities now, people setting up kind of small magazines and blogs and things that will talk about you. So it's really good to get involved with them. Know your way around your computer. It's pretty invaluable. It makes you employable if you know what you're doing, how to make something press ready or how to make something web ready. If you don't love it, then do something else, because nobody's in this purely for the money, I think.